Dad.
From a young age, Zane has exhibited a singular drive to transform adversity into triumph. This alchemy has been achieved through his perseverance, diligence, and heroic sense of life, along with the guidance and wise counsel of his family. Zane's hard-won victory over the academic and social challenges handed to him by dyslexia was recognized by the teaching staff at Aspen Middle School when they chose him as his class's representative to deliver the 8th grade continuation speech last year. His words attest to his leadership qualities and are a prophet to us all. He said, "I have learned that when you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things changes." Every person in this room has and will again endure something that is challenging. The question is, how will we react? No one chooses their hardships in life, but we can work hard, overcome our challenges, and become better people from them. In addition to his academic achievements, this young man has recently successfully piloted multiple solo flights and earns his own spending money through his part-time job.
Thank you, Donna.
Zane has an incredible story to share with us tonight. As you listen, I hope you will also feel blessed by this young man's courage, humility, honesty, and steadfastness of principle. Stay tuned for the duration. This story has a surprise ending that you won't want to miss. Please join me in appreciation and support to welcome Zane Zachary to the stage.
Thank you, Donna. I really appreciate that. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all well. I want to ask you a few questions. How many of you have a deep love of this nation because it has given so much to you? How many of you have felt misrepresented as a black-hearted, uncaring bigot when you have expressed your political opinions? Raise your hand if you've ever been labeled an ist or a phobe when defending your ideas. Fortunately, that's too many of you, unfortunately. My name is Zane Zachary, and I attend Aspen High School, where I have experienced firsthand the biases of teachers and peers in lessons, books, and classroom discussions. Seeking to achieve viewpoint diversity, I've offered my opinions freely in class and among peers. Imagine the reaction I get. Preferring to keep gender-specific bathrooms, it was suggested that I was a transphobe. For believing we should enforce immigration laws, I've been called racist. During class time, I've had to sit through lengthy attacks by teachers on my values and the elected leaders who represent them. In the middle school, kids have been called into the principal's office for wearing MAGA hats. And last but not least, I am tired of kids faking their politics to get the grades they want, or what we call fake it till you make it. For better or worse, on May 29th, the day before finals started, I was invited into a Snapchat conversation with students of opposing views. The chat covered controversial issues including abortion, socialism, immigration, and gun control. When my friends and I were being falsely accused of racism, I felt the compulsion to defend my reputation. I soon transitioned to posting photos and memes, including these. I was supposed to put the Aspen High School up, but my apologies. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, there we go. And then I posted this. After my post, other students posted pictures of firearms along with comments about shooting at the assault range and seeing guns in a museum. Unlike the other pictures, I thought my political cartoon would be uncontroversial, considering that Aspen Public Schools have had at least 2 armed school resource officers, or SROs, for over 20 years. Well, I was wrong. Upon my return from lunch, I was escorted to a secure room where I was interrogated by 2 police officers as well as a school psychologist. During the 2.5-hour investigation, one SRO pointed at this cartoon and asked me if I saw myself as that school shooter. I was horrified by the suggestion that I could be a violent criminal. And it was only when I read the police report in mid-June that I understood why law enforcement had such a zealous response. Here's the first paragraph of the actual police report. On 5/29/19, at approximately 11:30 hours, the Pitkin County Sheriff's Office SRO received a text message from the Aspen High School assistant principal that said, "Need you for gun and school shooter." It turns out that our police and sheriff's departments did do their job based on what they were told. You see, one of the involved students reported feeling unsafe. My accuser was believed, while I got to experience 2 hours of questioning by the police and sheriff's SRO, an evaluation by the school psychologist, having to take my finals in a separate room from my peers, and all the rumors and ridicule that 9th graders are capable of bestowing. I'll be honest, at first I wanted vindication, but I quickly focused on my final exams and on correcting the official record. After all, what happens in high school doesn't stay in high school anymore. Thankfully, it was determined I was not a threat to school safety. I got all A's on my finals, and all records will be corrected to reflect what actually happened. So all's well that ends well, except that that's not the end, because I have learned some hard but valuable lessons. First, Maya Angelou was right when she said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Although I will never forget how I felt that day, being labeled as someone I can never be, I also had to ask myself how my postings made other people feel and take responsibility for my actions. Second, I realized that we need to be able to show that we care, that we want to make people's lives better. But without earning others' trust, this goal is impossible. I did not trust the other students because they called me racist, and they didn't trust me because I became infuriated by their remarks. When I think back, I could have engaged them in respectful dialogue so we can find common ground. In reality, trust is made in person, not online. That is because text conceals and conversation reveals a thoughtful mind. That lesson my parents had to teach me. And this brings me to my third lesson. It is important to listen with the intent to understand, not with the intent to reply. Truly, it takes both sides to build a bridge. And in my situation, both sides of the bridge did not care what the other person had to say, and that's a problem. Until I talked to Theron Mulberry, my principal. I thought I would never be heard and that no one cared, but he listened, seeking to understand, not respond. He helped me see that he and I share common ground. Like me, he wants a school where kids can feel respected regardless of opinion. He wants a school centered around fairness, compassion, and respectful dialogue. Thankfully, out of this crisis has emerged a silver lining. Theron has created an opportunity for our club to bring authoritative people to campus. Well-respected speakers who are able to explain how our life-supporting ideas are actually the best for the most people, especially the most vulnerable. I'd like you all to give a standing ovation to Theron Mulberry. Thank you, everyone. In so doing, we will not only prove that one side does not hold a monopoly on caring, we will pull students closer to our ideas. In this day and age, this is a unique opportunity, in Aspen of all places. Anna Zane will speak to you next about how you can help realize this dream, and I hope you all will be generous in responding to her appeal. Meanwhile, I'm going to start the fund by donating this $100 bill that I worked as bussing tables. I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to me and caring. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
Sit down.
Thank you.